Okay, I'm gonna constantly be moving in this video, so it's the only way I can stay away from the bugs. This is WS Ag's Miller sprayer. They have it set up for 360-degree wide drops for side dressing corn. The reason it's sitting here right now is because we have approximately 10 acres that they're going to go through and side dress. The reason I am doing this video is because chances are, better than not, Ryan is going to be the one that goes up and does a video with it when they do it. Now, they're not going to be doing this for a few days yet, from what I understand, just because of weather and getting people around to do it. So this is what the 360 wide drops are. The reason I'm bringing attention to it is because this is pretty much what I was trying to do with my cultivator setup as far as the fertilizer goes. These wide drops, what they do, they got this front cover right here which runs down the center of the row, which looks like they catch an awful lot of flack, but they do flex up here. Memory serves me right, there's a magnet up there, so when they do it, anybody would do it, these get ran into the ground, that magnet gives, and it keeps you from completely destroying anything. Now, originally when we were going to do the fertilizer setup on the cultivator, we really did talk about just going with these right off the bat. I would have done some fabricating, and I would have mounted these right behind the row units on the cultivator, and we decided against that. I mean, this is when we were first talking about doing the side dressing with the cultivator, and it was just like, well, if you really want, we can find you some used ones and you could mount them behind your rows. I was really tempted to do that, but I wasn't really willing to put the money into even used units. So what these do, they run down the row, and these hoses, the way they have them angled, these run right out along the rows of the rows of corn. And what it does is it drops the product down right next to the base of the plant, so it is right over top the roots. Really easy, quick for the plant to uptake these nutrients that it's putting down. That is really what I was doing with the fertilizer setup that I have. It's being proven time and time again. It all boils down to, I don't want to get into a debate as to what's right or wrong as far as putting all of your nitrogen down in the fall, right in the spring, putting it down with the planter, split applying it. It's shown that it does show an increase in yield, and the bugs are after me again. It does show a boost in yield by going through and splitting your nitrogen. Now, we did put it down last fall with anhydrous. We put anhydrous down last fall. We put liquid starter down with the corn planter. Granted, we didn't do a very high rate. And then they also went through, when they sprayed our pre-emerge, instead of using water, they used 28 as a carrier. What it does is it allows a little bit more of that, a little bit of nitrogen, adds a little bit more nitrogen there for the plant to use before the roots are able to get to the anhydrous, because once that corn hits the anhydrous, it just takes off. Now, what I was doing, I went through and I would side dress as late as I really could. The last day that I was side dressing, I probably could have ran maybe 3 or 4 more days after that, but to be completely honest, I was really holding the cultivator up by the time I was doing that last applying that I did. The plants were already getting fairly tall, and the row units were pretty much just skimming along the ground. They weren't working the ground at all. They were literally just the ends of the tines were just hardly hitting the dirt. And the downside to these is that as long as you have moisture coming to rain coming to help put that nutrients down to the soil, it helps. Unlike the cultivator helps incorporate the product into the ground. It covers it up, throws a little bit of dirt over it. You don't have to necessarily worry so much about losing anything. That was a big draw to me for using the cultivator. Plus the fact that a self-propelled sprayer just really isn't in the cash flow plan right now. It would be nice. Andrew keeps telling us that we really should be considering it. It's not that we're not considering it. Okay, that was a lie. We aren't considering it as of right now, but it's definitely there in the back of our minds that it's something that would pay for itself down the road. It allows you to spray your crops in a timely manner on your own schedule. The only problem is with the amount of help that you have around to do it. Doing pre-emerge in the spring when we're trying to go through and plant, it would get kind of tight as far as being able to get everything done in a timely manner. So that's one big advantage we have to having the ag center go through and spray our crops for us. But I do see us down the road potentially getting away from spraying, or getting away from having to hire the spraying done. It's the same thing with trucking. But this, hopefully you guys keep an eye out on Ryan's channel and you'll actually see some footage of it running. To be completely honest, you're probably not gonna see anything of it running on my channel. I'm not 100% certain on that, but it's just the way things are shaping up. I literally have a week's worth of things that I really have to try to get done here, and that's why I was kind of planning on having Ryan, just because he's got the drone, he can do the better shots of this. The reason it's here is because we have some ground that it doesn't have any anhydrous on it. It didn't get broadcast with urea this spring, so all that the corn on this particular 10 acres has gotten is the liquid with the corn planter, the little bit of 28 through the sprayer when they sprayed our pre-emerge, and the side dressing that we did. That's it. So they're going to go through and side dress with this unit on those 10 acres that didn't get the anhydrous on it last fall. So that'll be, let's put a positive spin on it. It'll be a nice trial run to see if, you know, the anhydrous is how much of a difference there is between not having the anhydrous on as opposed to having it on. At least in that 10 acres, it'll give us a little bit of an idea. Definitely could see a difference in the corn where it didn't get the anhydrous last fall. That is a big reason right there. Sorry if I'm giving you motion sickness. That is a big reason right there as to why we like the anhydrous. It's kind of it's complicated when it comes to actually handling the stuff. I mean, the stuff is very dangerous. You have to respect it, but the problem is that it's a great product. We like the results that we're getting. Okay, as an example, anhydrous, for one, you can apply it in the spring or in the fall. You apply it in the fall, preferably, it's probably one of the last things you do in the fall. It's what we do. But it's available the longest throughout the growing season, you know, clear into August, when most other forms of nitrogen, when applied early in the season, are all up front before planting, are usually sputtering out by the time you get to August. Anhydrous, it stays in the soil longer. To the example I was going to tell you about, I know a guy whose family way back when used to do anhydrous. Well, then they quit for about 15 years and they started doing it here again recently. No, I'm not talking about us. They've been doing anhydrous for, what was it, maybe they might be going on about 10 years of applying anhydrous here again. And one thing his grandpa was telling me, you know, older guys, they have more knowledge than us younger guys. One thing that he told me is that on years where, you know, they applied the anhydrous on their corn, and they applied it in the spring, if that has any bearing on it, and that following year behind corn they were seeding oats down, he said that he honestly believed that anhydrous was still hanging around, at least in some amount, all the way into the following year, and it was affecting the growth of his oats. Because he said that he used to get some really deep, dark, really healthy looking oats that he didn't really apply nitrogen down for. I mean, we don't when we seeded, when we were growing up. And Grandpa never broadcast or put anything down for oats. I mean, it had whatever the corn was left over from it last year, and that was it. I mean, it was getting seeded down to hay. And not to get off from this machine, but Grandpa used to broadcast his hay ground when we were milking, but as far as putting anything down for oats, we just never did it. So I mean, that was kind of an interesting observation that he told me about how his oats performed. Myself, I really wonder how that's performing on our bean ground, because this is our, what is this, our second year with anhydrous. 2018 the fall of 2018 will be the third year of applying it, third fall of applying it. But it really makes me wonder, after hearing that story, how much that could potentially affect our soybean crops following our corn. I don't know, I guess that's up to debate. Any of you guys that are watching the channel that have done it too and on your own operations, feel free to comment. Give me your opinions, what you really think. I mean, it might be interesting to know what our soybeans, if they're getting at least a little bit of a boost from that little bit of nitrogen that's being left in the ground or not from the corn. So, all right, this is the Miller Nitro 5215. It's parked here out of the way for the time being, but I just wanted to at least do something on it because I didn't get a chance to film it at the farm day. They came in, they took it to work here. Like the second it left here, it went right to the field again. So, all right, any other questions you guys have about it, just let me know. I'll try to get Andrew to answer them, because I did that nice long 15-some minute long video with Andrew and it fell flat in its face. It didn't record the sound for some reason. So that's it for this video. So until next time, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. Thanks for hanging in there, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.